Parking in Denver can be a real hassle at times. In one corner of the city, a parking lot has become the epicenter of angry customers and small businesses just trying to survive. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Tom Green. At 4 o'clock, we start with this sandwich shop owner who started enforcing parking rules on the lot she pays for after her business started to see more traffic. Well, now that choice has caused some neighborhood resentment and even racist harassment. 9 News investigative reporter Jeremy Hola spoke with people in the neighborhood at 29th and Tennyson. Joins us now live with a breakdown of all that's been happening. Jeremy?
Hi there, Tom. This is more than just a parking lot dispute story. This is a story about small businesses in this neighborhood just trying to survive in this economy and struggles over space and making all customers happy. The parking boot came off after Michael Jakes paid the tow truck guy $125.
Never had this happen before.
He parked in the News Cafe parking lot like he always has and ran around the corner to Leroy's Bagels.
I went in to go grab a bagel real quick and took maybe 3 to 5 minutes and I had a boot on my truck.
A sign on Leroy's Bagels says, "Don't park there. You'll get booted in 5 minutes." Over the last several weeks, the News Cafe has increased enforcement of parking as more customers come in for the banh mi sandwiches.
I feel not safe anymore.
The owner of the cafe didn't want to show her face on camera because of racist attacks like this when she started enforcing parking on her lot.
Ugly immigrant.
What?
Ugly immigrant. I don't know what did we do wrong that make people did that to us.
Nu Huang says for many years she let customers from other businesses park here for free. But because she's getting more business with her new sandwich kitchen, she has to protect her space.
We've been paying for the full lot, and the rent goes up every year. And seriously, we cannot afford just like to let everybody park here, and we paying for everything included, like, fixing the parking lot, like insurance, everything.
For a long time, there was no issue with parking.
The owner of Leroy's Bagels says the parking enforcement has strained relations between other businesses and the cafe because customers blame them for the towing.
It's affected all of the businesses in our corridor. To be perfectly honest, it's really put a sour taste in a lot of our customers' mouths. I think there's a dialogue going around that we are somehow involved in this.
Now the businesses may have another round of mediation talks with the cafe owner, and the topic of paying for the parking lot may come up like it did last year.
The cost at the time was something that was a big hit to all of our bottom lines and that we were unable to, as small businesses, bite off. And that was kind of where the discussion stopped.
Between bagels and sandwiches, it's a layered conflict with the parking lot right in the center, and everyone wants to protect their peace. Now, mediation talks between the cafe owner and other businesses could happen in the next couple of weeks, but in the meantime, the owner played for me a pretty racist voicemail that she received over this parking lot issue. She's also been receiving negative reviews on her Google review page when people get booted here. So hopefully in the near future, some sort of happy medium can be found here at the corner of 29th and Tennyson. Live in Denver, Jeremy Hohola, 9 News.
Yeah, you certainly would hope something like that could be worked out, but there aren't many things more irritating or that create more of a problem for people than boots and towing. Once that happens, you really get people's hackles up.
Yeah, and people want to just park, go get their bagel, go get their food, and businesses want to protect what's rightfully theirs. Tom.
All right, Jeremy, thanks very much.
Let's take a live look outside downtown Denver. Look at that. Blue, blue, blue skies. Really nice day out there. Some people might say it's a little warm, but Kathy, can't really argue with it. I mean, you can unroll the windows and actually feel some air moving around. It's nice.
It's just about perfect out there, Kim. I mean, we don't have severe weather. We don't have flooding rain. We don't have wind. We don't have that awful smoke. It's really a perfect late summer day with seasonal highs today in the mid 80s. Beautiful conditions right outside the studios here as the evening drive gets underway. Look at that up and down the Front Range. Visibility is excellent today. I love it. And 85 in Denver this hour, 89 in Lamar, 81 in Eagle, comfortable 77 in Steamboat, 88 in Grand Junction. The wind's picking up a little bit out of the south and southeast around Centennial, DIA, Longmont, and Fort Collins, 15 to 20 miles per hour. But basically, we're embarking upon a dry weather pattern that will last the week. Tomorrow will be the warmest day of the week ahead of the coolest day of the week on Thursday. I think you're going to like the forecast for the upcoming holiday weekend. You can see there's a little moisture attempting to move to the north out of the south and southwest into Colorado, but for the most part, we're in between the tropical plume of moisture to the south, an approaching cool front to the north, and a center of circulation in the Midwest. And so what that means for us is isolated showers around Alamosa and Trinidad, and then dry statewide. Threat for severe weather stays east of our forecast area tonight. Chicago, St. Louis, if you're headed out of Colorado to those areas, you're going to run into some trouble. And then notice how we have very little in the way of cloud cover tonight or tomorrow. We've got mostly sunny conditions, mostly dry conditions. But of course, when you have overly dry conditions and warm conditions, then we start talking about fire weather again. So we'll let you know when we might have some beneficial rain and then talk about that temperature trend over the next couple of days because it's kind of interesting. Back to you.
Thanks, Kathy. A car was pulled out of the South Platte River today after a crash on I-25 near Alameda Avenue. Sky 9 first got over that scene about 6 this morning. The car landed on its side, but Denver Fire says the driver was able to get out of the car and wait for firefighters to rescue her. The car was pulled out a few hours later. Denver police say a second driver who was at fault was cited for careless driving and no driver's license. DPD also says a third car was involved and left the scene. This isn't the first time we've seen something like this happen in that area. In February of 2022, a 6-car crash on that stretch of I-25 sent a Subaru into the South Platte River. Unlike today's crash, that Subaru landed on its wheels in the water. Moments later, the driver could be seen gathering things from the car and walking away.
Updating a story we first brought to you yesterday at 4 o'clock, the Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says a deadly crash in Centennial involved 2 construction workers from the same company. It happened in a construction zone near the intersection of Holly and Arapahoe. Deputies say a worker driving a dump truck backed over a second worker who was directing traffic, and that person died at the scene. Traffic safety investigators say the driver of the dump truck is not facing any charges at this time.
Caregivers who help patients living with multiple sclerosis in rural communities recognize people weren't getting the care they needed. A center started a program that brings medical experts and education forums to 5 counties in Colorado. Just this summer, the program expanded. 9 News reporter Janelle Fintz tells us more about creating opportunities for healthcare access.
The mountains provide an escape from the city, but distance comes at a price.
There is a lack of access to specialized care.
Rocky Mountain MS Center's Rural Engagement Program bridges a gap for people with multiple sclerosis.
We wanted to meet that need right where people are at in their communities.
Carrie Jehovic is the Senior Director of Programming. She says the center brings neurologists, physical therapists, and social workers to 5 rural Colorado counties, and just recently, 1 in Wyoming.
Folks face many challenges, transportation barriers, and access to care and support services.
Jehovic says no one should be denied care based on where they are.
It's easy access, and that's really going to be a key part of the solution in advancing health equity in rural communities across Colorado.
The Rural Engagement Program was created in 2021, the same year Lindsay Rice was diagnosed.
So it was all new to me, being diagnosed with a disease such as MS. And I live in a small town of Salida, Colorado, and there is care there. There's good care, but it's nothing like what is available in Denver and other large cities.
Rice still has to travel hours to meet with certain doctors, but she says having educators brought to her makes her feel more prepared for life with MS.
Well, it makes having a disease like MS less scary.
Giving patients like her one less thing to worry about.
It is so wonderful to hear from individuals like Lindsay who have benefited from our rural engagement program. It just reinforces how important these programs are to individuals living in rural communities.
Rocky Mountain MS Center says this program is holistic, not only to connect patients with experts on their conditions, but also people with their condition. Patients with MS like Lindsay say being able to connect with others with MS establishes an additional level of community, All of these opportunities support navigating life with MS. In the studio, Janelle Finch, 9 News.
That's so important to feel like you're not alone, and yet you want to live where you love, right? So bring things to people everywhere.
And that's exactly what they're doing here.
All right. Thank you, Janelle.
Denver's ever-popular e-bike rebates, they were back up for grabs this morning, and as is always the case, the rebates were gone quickly, scooped up within 3 minutes. Those rebates can give you up to $1,200 off an e-bike, depending on your income status. The city says it's invested more than $8 million trying to get people on e-bikes. The next release date, if you didn't get this one, Tuesday, October 29th, they'll be released at 11 a.m.